We are a nation of immigrants, and we should all be proud of it. But we're also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws.
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country.
The bill before us will certainly do some good. It will authorize some badly needed funding for better fences and better security along our borders.
We want people coming in to our country based on merit and based on the fact that they are going to love our country and they respect our people in our country.
Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody.
Families who enter our country the right way and play by the rules watch others flout the rules.
For decades, open borders have allowed drugs and gangs to pour into our most vulnerable communities. Most tragically, they have caused the loss of many innocent lives.
That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
And because we live in an age where terrorists are challenging our borders, we cannot allow people to pour into the U.S. undetected, undocumented, and unchecked.
They're telling us that the single most grave threat to America is a bunch of poor, impoverished, broke, hungry refugees 1,000 miles away. They're even using our brave troops, sending them down as a political stunt.
Real reform means stronger border security, and we can build on the progress my administration's already made, putting more boots on the southern border than at any time in our history, and reducing illegal crossings to their lowest levels in 40 years.
Racist.
Real reform means establishing a responsible pathway to earned citizenship, a path that includes passing a background check, paying taxes and a meaningful penalty, learning English, and going to the back of the line behind the folks trying to come here legally.
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
We've got to do several things, and I am, adamantly against illegal immigrants. Certainly, we've got to do more at our borders, and people have to stop employing illegal immigrants.
We're working to make sure that we have sufficient facilities to detain, house, and process them appropriately. And it is unlikely that their children will be able to stay. And I've asked parents across Central America not to put their children in harm's way.
The president's decision to end DACA was heartless and it was brainless. Hundreds of thousands of families will be ripped apart. People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration, which the American people overwhelmingly oppose.
Meanwhile, what's happening to families at the border is horrific. This is a moral and humanitarian crisis.
Well, look, I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent
a wall.
Illegal immigrants from coming in.
Aliens.
And I do think you have to control your borders.
Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody.
What are you lying about, sir? That's the Democrats' law. We can change it tonight. We can change it right now. I will leave here. No.
Any immigration solution must recognize that we must do as much as we can to gain control of our borders as soon as possible. But we also need to set the record straight. The American people need to know that because of our efforts in Congress, our border is far more secure today than it was when we began debating comprehensive reform in 2005. Between 2005 and 2009, a vast amount of progress has been made on our borders and ports of entry. The progress includes 9,000 new Border Patrol field agents in the last 4 years, construction of a 630-mile border fence, or 630 miles of border fence, that create a significant barrier to illegal immigration on our southern land border. And third, the implementation of new border technologies which serve as force multipliers and allow the Border Patrol to maintain control of larger segments of the border with fewer agents.
Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody.
Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody.
And that should help stem some of the tide of illegal immigration in this country. But if we think that putting up a few more miles of fence is by any means the whole answer to our immigration problems, then I believe we're seriously kidding ourselves.
Fewer illegal immigrants, higher GDP, more jobs, reduced deficit. Who could oppose that? I don't know of anybody.
Democrats saw their plan for retreat in Iraq vetoed by the president this week. But before they try and sell surrender to the American people again, we wanted everyone to see how their words about Iraq have evolved in the last few years. It's the evolution of hypocrisy and defeatism.
Earlier today, I ordered America's armed forces to strike military and security targets in Iraq. They are joined by British forces. Their mission is to attack Iraq's nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons programs.
I think it would be naive to the point of grave danger not to believe that left to his own devices, Saddam Hussein will provoke, misjudge, or stumble into a future more dangerous confrontation with the civilized world. He has as much as promised it.
There's no question that Iraq poses biological and chemical weapons. That's not in doubt. And that he seeks to acquire additional weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapons. That's not in debate.
The threat of Saddam Hussein with weapons of mass destruction is real.
We know that he has stored away secret supplies of biological weapons and chemical weapons throughout his country.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein's regime is a serious danger, that he is a tyrant, and that his pursuit of lethal weapons of mass destruction cannot be tolerated. He must be disarmed.
Iraq's search for weapons of mass destruction has proven impossible to completely deter, and we should assume that it will continue for as long as Saddam is in power.
A brutal, oppressive dictator, guilty of personally murdering and condoning murder and torture, grotesque violence against women, execution of political opponents, a war criminal who used chemical weapons against another nation, and of course, as we know, against his own people, the Kurds.
It is clear, however, that if left unchecked, Saddam will increase his capacity to wage biological and chemical warfare and will keep trying to develop nuclear weapons. Any vote that might lead to war should be hard. But I cast it with conviction.
Yes, I would have voted for the authority. I believe it was the right authority for a president to have.
This is a great day of pride in the American military, a great day for the Iraqis, and a great day for the American people, and frankly a great day for the administration. I think President Bush deserves a day of celebration. We have our policy differences, but we won't be discussing those today. I think he deserves a day to celebrate as well.
Incidentally, You know, Governor Dean and some other people didn't even think it was great. They didn't even know that it was good to get rid of Saddam Hussein.
This is a very important development, but we got a long way to go. And I've been saying for a long time, and I say today, the president still needs to get the help that we need in bringing this matter to a successful conclusion.
We go to war because of our national security interest. We don't go to war to start democracy in another country.
The writing is on the wall, and it doesn't say mission accomplished. It says it's time to change course.
You don't make up or find reasons to go to war after the fact.
There was no firefight. There was no IED that killed these innocent people. Our troops overreacted because of the pressure on them. And they killed innocent civilians in cold blood.
It's the wrong war in the wrong place at the wrong time.
We don't have the votes to pass it. We couldn't even get the votes to pass a non-binding resolution 1 week ago. How the hell do you think we're going to get the votes to cut off the war? You want me to vote funding? How if you don't have the votes?
I actually did vote for the $87 billion before I voted against it.
If I had been president in October of 2002, I would have never asked for authority to divert our attention from Afghanistan to Iraq, and I certainly would never have started this war.
And I am a person who is committed to ending this war. It is a grotesque mistake.
I believe, myself, that the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and you have to make your own decision as to what the President knows, that this war is lost.
It's